Back to gaming. What's the context of that clip?
Hey guys, Juicy here. I've just finished farming 50 maps of juiced content with a new league mechanic with 2 different atlas strategies, and I just want to go over some of the results, share my findings, and hopefully help you guys use the league mechanic to make a lot of currency. So initially I started with a Wandering Path atlas, um, which was very similar to the atlas I was already running, but I incorporated more Abyss and Breach because they spawn a lot of mobs and rares in combination with Beyond to basically spawn as many rares as possible, empower them with as much wisps as I could, and basically just create crazy loot explosions. So this was the initial atlas, pretty simple, just Wandering Path, taking any Abyss nodes, taking a little bit of map chance. In this version of the atlas, I also ran a bit of Expedition with the big nuke keystone. And yeah, it was pretty simple. Basically just took all the nodes that I could and all the quant nodes and juiced my maps. So after 25 maps, I switched to a more standard atlas, mainly so that I could get bigger abysses in my maps with increased monster experience and density, and also, yeah, just more density in breaches, incorporate shrines, and also just increase the number of altars in the maps. So I just wanted to quickly show you guys the results of that. At a quick glance, this was the Wandering Path Atlas. 19 Divines, 14 Exalts, 5 Annuls, a couple puzzle boxes, reliquary keys, and then a bunch of maps, scarabs, things like that. And then same thing with the second set of 25 maps, 26 Divines, 17 Exalts, 19 Annuls, 6 puzzle boxes. Another quick note, I had some more high variance loot, so fractured bases, uniques, memories. I didn't include those in the loot comparison just because you might not drop these in your time running these maps, so I set them aside, but this is an additional 20 divines of loot or so. I was also leveling gems in my offhand. These go from level 1 to level 5 in about 10 to 12 maps just because of the sheer density and quantity of monsters that you're spawning. So now I'll just jump into one of these maps and just talk about my approach to farming the wisps, which I think is by far the most important part of the strategy. So just quickly going over what I was running in these maps. I had 4 sextants, abysses, breaches, packs of rares, and hunter traders. These 2 can just be anything that gives you rares or any type of mobs in your map. And in the maps, I was running 2 polished, scarabs, 2 gilded, just because the price of the gildeds kind of went up and I didn't really want to buy a lot in bulk. So normally I would be running Temple of Atuatl, but I've used them all up, so I'm just using Einar for some additional rares. So then I always get beyond on the map device, and yeah, I'll show you guys one of these maps. It's quite long. It can be anywhere between 20 to 25 minutes. So I'll just skip through different parts, but most importantly I'll show you the first part, which is the wisps and my approach to the altars. So going into one of these maps, go into the wildwood. First thing I do is just stop, look at the wisps. I'm really hoping for blue wisps right off the bat, but if I'm not able to get that, I'll just basically walk around, try to collect as many wisp trails as I can, and usually when you follow these, from my experience, they'll lead you to different wisp trails. Not always, so I actually am a big fan of backtracking when I look around and I can't see any new wisp trails. Found that to be pretty good in terms of consistency of results. So for example, like here, I follow that purple trail, and then as soon as I see the vivid wisp trail, I'm going to start following that instead, because I prefer yellow, then blue, then purple. But a combination of any of them is ideal. Yep, so we got a blue trail here. I'm going to start following that immediately. Hopefully I still have some radius left and I can actually get some blue juice in this map. Perfect, we got a recharge. Okay, now we found the literal best node that you can find early on, or just in general in the forest, which is the forest caches, just because it has a ton of mobs. And when you kill them all, they give like around 1500 blue essence or so, which is really, really good. So right now I'm at 2500 blue already, basically. So this is already like, going to be a good map, and I'm pretty much certain of that now. So now I just gotta find another wisp trail to follow. So we got a yellow one, perfect. So I actually sometimes spend quite a long time in here, just collecting all the wisps that I can. So, because yeah, I think that's the biggest predictor of success. So the next thing I'm going to do is basically run through the map. I've got permanent phasing, so I just run through and I look for the boss. This part's pretty important as well, so it helps to have a build that has access to permanent phasing, whether that's through a phasing flask or something else. Like for me, it's a Watcher's Eye. These bosses can get pretty tanky when they're ghosted and double empowered, triple empowered. Another thing I'll talk about is just the build that I'm using. This is just standard caustic arrow. I'm not using any other new gems. I'm following very closely what Ben did in hardcore, just to make a really, really tanky character. Just because I'm recording this, the FPS is going to be pretty horrible. So unfortunately, watching this back, I actually realized my item filter sounds were way too loud, and it was probably going to damage some people's eardrums. So I'm just going to narrate over the top and talk a little bit about the mapping strategy. So basically, what I'm doing after I kill the map boss is running around the entire map, and I'm not even trying to kill the rare mobs. All I'm trying to do is kill the Eldritch packs to spawn the altars. I can take all of them because with my build, there isn't a single downside that really does anything to my build. So I'm essentially just picking up everything, trying to get as much quant as possible. As you can see in the background, like I've already found a bunch of altars. I'm over 200% quant, just I think from 3 or 4 altars. I've had it go up to as high as 250, 300, which can get really, really crazy in terms of just the sheer amount of drops you're getting. So after that, after I think I've gotten all the altars, I just go through the map, top to bottom, clear out all the league mechanics, and just work on getting all the drops. Alright, so I've just finished clearing the map, and unfortunately didn't get any Divine Sight map, just one Exalt. But yeah, that's how I run these maps. Alright, so I'll jump into the more detailed breakdown. I used Wealthy Exile to do a scan of my stash tabs, and basically just give me a more detailed breakdown of all the loot that I got. I went through the spreadsheet, cleaned it up a little, picked out some important information, and then sort of adjusted the currency drops. So first off, for the first 25 maps, I was using a less strict filter, which included alks, alterations, chances. So I've actually just omitted those drops in the final calculation when comparing the two strats. And yeah, so just starting off, the important stuff to look at is obviously the amount of T1 currency I got, so Exalts, Annuls, Divination Orbs, sorry, Divine Orbs. So in the first 25 maps that I ran, which is with the Wandering Path Atlas, I got 38 T1 currencies. This is also highly dependent on how many maps you get with blue juice and things like that, but I think over 25 maps it sort of averaged out. I would say I had the same number of like crazy juiced up maps in terms of wisps on both. And then the second thing to look at, which I think is actually even more telling, is the number of union cards. So we usually, like if you run maps like Cemetery that have a more common card drop that's still valuable, it's good to track it so that then you can compare your expected number of, say for example, Brothers stashes. So for me, in the first 25 maps, I got 68 union cards, and in the second set I got 82. So this also just shows me that it's not just currency that I'm dropping more of, it's just more of everything. So it's not just the blue juice variants in these maps. So in all of the maps that I ran, I only dropped one brother stash, which got duplicated, which I think is a little unlucky. I should have dropped, a one gift, one stash, maybe a little bit more, but that's whatever because honestly, all the other drops were so good it offset that by quite a bit. The other thing to look at is Valdo's puzzle boxes. These are not currently included in all the currency breakdown websites and apps. I'm not sure why. I'm guessing just because it's a very new item. So I had to manually add that in. So once I've adjusted for all of these things, I got the new sum, which is around 90 divines for the second atlas that I ran, and 76 or 77 for the first atlas that I ran. So yeah, I think the reasoning for this is just the extra mobs that I was getting from Abyss and Breach just added up. It also, on the second Atlas, I was able to take the slower breaches, which is not necessary for every build, but these mobs are incredibly tanky, where my single target, if everything is up, is around 10 mil. But when I'm just basically running around shooting my caustic arrow, it's probably closer to 2.5 to 4 mil, depending on what's up. So I can't fully clear the breaches and kill all the rares in time, which I think makes quite a difference for my build at least to have those nodes. Hey guys, that's pretty much it for the video. I guess this is the last thing. I decided to open all of my reliquary keys and my puzzle boxes. I got complete garbage from all of them but one. So I did get a foil Nimbus map. I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up running this myself if it doesn't sell because it's completely doable. It's nothing too bad. And it doesn't rip you to standard if you die. So overall, the strategy was very good. I think for the next thing, I'm just going to do something more standard. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and I hope you have a good day.